All right, what's up, guys? I'm gonna do a quick unboxing, which, as you can see, it's already been unboxed. Quick unboxing, initial thoughts. Wouldn't say this is a review because it's not been installed or used in the car yet, but a couple things I noticed right off the bat. Talking about the Racewire Solutions, they have this listed as Pdm-12 Super Street Module with hazards. So basically, the wiring in the E36 from the factory is a nightmare. Like for a car that, mine's a 94 coupe car, the amount of wiring and modules in that car for being a 94 was just outrageous. So I figured instead of trying to separate what I planned to use out of the harness, decided to go with a PDM. And for those that don't know, that's a power distribution module. These come from a number of different companies, a number of different configurations, even on up to the new EPDMs like the Race Pack Smart Wire, where there are no actual fuses and relays. This has, if I want to try to do this here, holding the camera and filming. So this has relays, fuses, all that stuff, typical power distribution module. Those EPDMs can be very expensive, but they're nice because you have a lot of diagnostic stuff built in, more than just being able to power things up. So I guess one thing I'll start with, the quality looks really nice. Everything is put together well, I would say. You got nice solid neoprene or Nomex, whatever they use here. Nice heat shrink, all mil-spec weather pack or Deutsch connectors. All the wiring looks of really good quality. What I did start doing was taking and labeling the harness. Just, in preparation. I find it a lot easier to do this in the comfort of my home, on my countertop, in the AC, and not in the shop where you got a bunch of distractions going on. So a couple things they supply here, one of which being a pinout sheet. That's how I was able to basically take these bundles of wire, look for those color wires and go, oh, yep, that's, the main harness or the doors or whatever. So it's cool. They do send that. So, here's what I'll say. I mean, it's definitely, definitely helpful to have something like this. I mean, the main harness is self-explanatory, at least as far as lighting goes. I opted for power windows and lighting, so that was pretty easy, right? They use a Kubota switch. Focus. They use a Kubota switch, combination switch. So I've got turn signals, horn, lights, all that stuff, high beams, low beams. And that's already weather packed. I like that. They did a really nice job there, and supplied even, which you don't need because it's already terminated. They supplied all of the pinouts and wiring and stuff for that combo switch. Once again, this is all the other stuff. Driver's door, input bundle, etc., light bundle. So once again, I just used that and, coordinated listing these out. So yeah, I mean, all that stuff's looking good. You got your main power and ground, big beefy, power and ground feeds. One thing I will say, right off the rip, I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they'd have done, these small, like, I bought this because they're, American-owned, American-made company, small business. I like that, right? But I feel like sometimes you run the risk with companies like that where I don't know if it's in the sake of time savings or they just expect people to know. The information that comes from them is rather incomplete. I would have really liked, even if it's not like laser etched into the lid, for the money you're spending, I think it'd be very nice if they at least gave you a fuse and relay diagram that says, hey, this is your, door driver window switch. This is the horn. This is because I mean, it comes like this, literally. You know, what is that yellow fuse 20 feeding? We have no idea. I can certainly take my time to flip it over, trace every wire to every fuse and relay, and make my own diagram. But when you're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on some of this stuff, and this isn't the only company doing this, it's almost like they just expect you to know, you know. But that would have been a really nice touch. So, you know, I'm kind of dinging them for that. You know, Racewire, you guys could easily, you know what it is, you're putting it together, you're building it. To print out a fuse diagram or a relay diagram, I think would go a very long way. So there's that. Another thing is the power window switch. So I got, once again, in my car, I'm just keeping power windows, and lights and wipers, which this won't control wipers. That's going to be on a separate setup. But so kind of fault number 2, I guess. And once again, you know, maybe this is just my expectation as a customer and as a business owner myself, but something, you know, the whole window side of things feels rather incomplete, right? So you have unterminated harness, which I get because everything you know, every car is different in length and all. You're going to be running and cutting wires and all. And on the window switch, they give a terminated 6-pin Deutsch connector, you know, for my window switch. However, they don't provide the other side. They don't give you the, you know, if this is the female end, you would think once again for the money, they would throw in a little baggie the male end. So now I'm going to have to buy this connector when, you know, most of these connectors are sold as a pair. You know, and mine's not in the box. So, you know, I feel like they kind of shorted me on the other end of the connector if they weren't going to terminate, which I understand why they couldn't terminate the harness. They don't know the length of the car and where the wires are going to run. But I feel like they could have at least supplied that connector. And secondly, a diagram for the switch. This is, you know, most Windows switches are like 6-pin. This is a lot of pins. I don't even know how many. I can try and count them all, you know, 10 pins per switch, whatever. And there's no pin out for how they have this wired. And literally you only have 6 wires coming in and out of there. So you have power and ground and the signal wires, you know, to the doors. And I'm hoping this is going to work because nowhere in their list, or did they provide a diagram? I'm hoping, and it looks like it from the number of wires and pins. You know, I'm not a, you know, electrical whiz by any means, but I'm really hoping this is polarity switching because nowhere on their sheet does it talk about where to grab this red and black from. I don't know if it's fused in here. Don't see it anywhere labeled in this harness. So once again, they provide a power windows solution that's not built into their system, at least from what it initially looks like. I've scoured this sheet a few times now and don't see anything that says power feed to window switch. So does that mean I have to run a separate fused source and all for the power windows, which I thought that's why I was buying this? So some has yet to be seen. Once again, I own a shop. I'm a DIY car builder guy. Do I do this for a living? No. Do I build wiring systems? No. So, you know, I'm not claiming that I'm smarter than these guys by any means, but from a common sense standpoint, I see some things that are missing here. That would have literally just, you know, a few extra moments time from them could have made you know, because there might be a guy in his garage doing this for the first time. And I think that's great. I think people should do that. You know, people make the comment, oh, well, if you don't know, you know, how to do it, blah, 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 you should be paying somebody. No, I disagree. You know, people need to learn how to do things on their own, but these guys building this stuff could certainly make it a little less trivial. So, you know, for, like I said, 6 feed wires coming in, there's a whole lot of wiring on the back of these switches, and it would just be nice for them to go, here's what we have going on. Like, I assume there's an illumination on these. It looks like it, but nowhere does it, you know. I'm hoping by getting power and ground to this, it illuminates stuff. But it's kind of a mystery at this point, almost like what those fuses and relays go to. So I'm not bashing these guys by any means. I'm super stoked to put this in my car. It's going to make the install just dumb clean. It's going to look so nice. I'm expecting this to perform super well because it looks like very high quality stuff. It's just, I feel like they could have done a little bit better job, you know, telling the customer kind of what they did with all this stuff. Like I said, you know, it's going to take me time to go through, you know, and figure out where these fuses and relays are all going, etc. And, you know, same thing with this window switch. When they could provide that info, they're the ones that built it, they're the ones that wired it up, they know exactly what fuse is where and powers what. So once again, that's kind of where I'm at with this. Definitely going to be working on getting this in the car soon. It's just a matter of finishing the cage up, finishing paint. But one of the first things we'll be doing is this wiring. So we'll definitely have that coming up for you guys here in the near future. Appreciate you hanging out. Go check out Racewire Solutions. Once again, great looking stuff, high quality products. Like, these guys are using really nice mil spec connectors. You don't got to worry about stuff getting wet, you know, terminals corroding. You know, the connectors have great tight pin fit. You know, the one that I have been able to, you know, plug in and feel on. You know, so I'm really looking forward to this stuff, and you guys should give them a check out for your project.